I'll call the meeting to order. If you all would stand and face the flag, put your hand over your heart, we'll do the pledge of allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You take roll call, please.
Commissioner Corbin,
Here.
Commissioner Dickel,
Here.
Commissioner Shaw,
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. Do we have the agenda in front of us? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? So,
Second.
is there any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Move down into appearances, acknowledgement. Ryan, you want to bring us up to speed on this acknowledge proposed resolution number 2021-30 sidewalk improvement 2022 and set the date of hearing of December 27th, 2021.
Sure, thank you. Included in the agenda packet is a resolution of necessity that was prepared regarding sidewalk assessments in 2022. This would be for, assessing sidewalk where there isn't currently sidewalk, not the repair process. First step kind of in this is the sidewalk committee met and reviewed areas of town. They looked at areas of town where there are gaps and infill needed. The goal as always is to try to get sidewalks through town, and that's kind of the main function of that committee. So the properties you'll see listed in that resolution are those as the sidewalk committee recommended. There's 5 projects, if you will. I won't get maybe into the description of those and try to get too far into the details, but those are listed in the resolution, and I can expound upon those if you'd like. The proposed project would make these areas where property owners would need to construct sidewalk at their own expense, and then we, the city, also have sidewalk of our own to install, and then ADA ramps. Today's kind of an opportunity for you to acknowledge the resolution, and as the mayor said, set that date of hearing for December 27th. And at that hearing, you would, among other things, take and hear any concerns from landowners or anyone else. And that's when that resolution would be considered and make that decision binding, so to speak.
Thank you, Ryan. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the proposed resolution number 2021-30 sidewalk improvement 2022 and set dated hearing for December 27th, 2021? Second. Is there any further comments or discussion?
So is this pretty common, this amount, or is this, we're trying to bite off a bigger piece?
No, this is kind of typically the amount that we would do. It should fit into our budget for our ADA ramps and our constructed sidewalk. We're getting whittled down to, I would call them the tougher areas of town. So these are kind of the more difficult areas of town. But this isn't about the amount we typically would do.
At least the close setbacks, the 60-foot setback.
They are, yeah, there's a lot of those.
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Ryan.
That's right.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Nothing under unfinished business. We'll move down into new business. We have the first one, adopt resolution number 2021-31. This is sidewalk repairs improvement 2022. Right, do you want to talk on this one?
Okay, thanks. Included in the agenda is a 6-page resolution related to the declaration of necessity for sidewalk repair improvement project. These are where sidewalk currently exists, but there's deficiencies in it. This generally follows the policy adopted by the commission previously regarding these sidewalk inspections. Kind of touch briefly on the process. Typically, we inspect sidewalks at the spring of the year. Then we proceed to provide an informal notice at that time. Dan goes out and hangs door hangers on doorknobs, informs the property owner that they have some deficiencies. And then we follow up with another notice around July, allowing landowners to perhaps take the bull by the horns and fix their sidewalk right away if they choose to this year. Then about this time of year, we put together this resolution for the commission. And this would make it again similar to the prior binding, so to speak, and then formally sets the completion date for the following year. So from the time of inspection to the time of improvement, it's slightly over a year. And this is generally our process. I don't think I'm skipping over anything major. I don't think I am. There's 77 landowner deficiencies that were encountered this year. It's slightly less than last year. I think we had 88. And many of these are pretty small repairs. If you look at the necessity, there's a lot of these that are like 29 square feet, 46 square feet. Those would just be like a single panel or 2 panels, but there's a couple larger ones in there. And this is a sixth of the town. So we inspect a sixth of the town every year and then rotate those.
You're right. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-31 sidewalk repair improvement 2022?
So, second.
Is there any comments or a question?
I just have a question for you. So if I have a tree in the boulevard, hypothetically, that's pushing my sidewalk up, will we take the tree down for the homeowner if it's destroying their sidewalk? It's in the boulevard. I'm just curious.
Yeah. I'm not certain on the policy. I think if it's in the right of way,
Go ahead.
I think we typically work with the landowner before to chop those roots out and stuff like that.
That's normally what
So
we
they'll
do.
cut the road, they'll cut the
Yeah.
sidewalk out, take the
Yeah.
road out, put the sidewalk back.
Now, if it's on private property, then we don't participate.
If the sidewalk has to be moved closer to the curb and because of a tree, and the tree is in the boulevard, and the homeowner does not want to go around the tree, then we have typically taken that tree out for.
Yeah, there was trying to do that. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you again, Ryan. Okay, Justin, if you want to come on up and bring us up to speed on item number 2, authorize the mayor to sign law enforcement officer certification agreement.
Yeah, so this is an agreement that we've been doing for about 5 or 6 years now when we hire somebody that is not currently a certified law enforcement officer. As it's included in your packet, paragraph 6 and 7 is pretty much the meat and potatoes of this. City is going to agree to pay the officer the sum for their time of $23.95 for the 40 hours per week or per hour for 40 hours while at the law enforcement training academy. That is a 12, possibly even a 13-week academy. And for the city to sponsor them, to send them through, the officer agrees that they have to work for the city of Madison for 3 years. If for some reason they leave the employment of the city or they are terminated prior to that 3 years, they have to pay us 100% of the wages over and above federal minimum wage for their time at the academy. It's a way to protect our investment into an individual so they don't turn around and leave and go to a larger agency right after they get out of certification. So, and this goes into effect upon the date of their graduation of the academy. And so it would be not from the date of hire, but the date of graduation of the academy.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
We have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign law enforcement officers certification agreement.
So moved.
Second. Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, gentlemen. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
sir.
Thanks, Justin.
Item number 3. Discussion regarding alternating time and frequency of regular city commission meetings.
Give a little background on that. It was requested to place this item on the agenda for discussion. No action be taken tonight, but staff would be able to take direction from the commission to prepare changes to the meeting schedules if desired by the commission. Currently, as everybody knows, we meet every Monday at 5:30. So the commission tonight can discuss whether they'd like to see that time change, whether they'd like to see the day change, whether they'd like to see that frequency change, because it's not weekly. I did send an email out to a listserv on my other city administrators and managers, and the ones I heard back on, only one community meets weekly, as it's the same as Madison. It's most common for communities of our size or larger to meet twice a month. Sometimes they have work sessions that are scheduled on top of that as well. As far as noon meetings, Kelly brought up the idea of whether we want to at least periodically have opportunities to meet at noon. The only town I'm aware that does that is Volga, which is where I was formerly employed. And they would meet once in the evening per month and once at noon per month. I'm not aware of anybody else that currently meets at noon. I think that's the background information. Again, staff would be happy to carry out whatever direction the commission would like us to see.
I guess we're changing times or dates. I'm not opposed to it, but I think we should still meet at least once a week. Maybe put some criteria on it if it's something that we don't have to meet, or it can go for the next meeting. We could always forego that meeting. I know we just did that at Thanksgiving, or after Thanksgiving.
I think since I've been here, may have been guessing around 3 meetings that were canceled due to lack of agenda items.
Yeah, I guess my position is I suggested this just based on, the majority of the commission and staff personnel have kids, and a lot of times this meeting conflicts with some of their events. And so I thought, not having to change every single meeting, but maybe having 2 meetings a month at lunchtime or before 8 o'clock. And do the same, or I'm open to suggestions there, but not only does it conflict with kids' events, for my work, I do travel some too, and so my travel schedule gets a little bit mixed up too, as I have to wait till Tuesday to travel instead of on Monday. So those are just my concerns with having it every week at 5:30, but just wanted to bring it up for discussion for the commission, so, and staff too. Staff obviously has to be here in some circumstances, and so definitely want their recommendations too. So.
How much time does it usually take to pull an agenda together?
I would say that because it's a routine, we get somewhat efficient at it, but when you look at the whole year, when you add up all the time, there's a considerable amount of staff time that's put into preparing agendas. Sonia, would you have a more quantitative?
I would say if I'm doing it's not nearly as productive as if Tracy's doing it, has been doing it for a very long time. While she was gone, it was definitely a bit more of a hassle. And it depends, with all the RD and the big projects we're doing, a lot of that, lots of resolutions and compiling all that does take more time than it probably would in a normal year.
So if we went to every other week, would it minimize some of that? Would it be as chaotic?
doing the minutes would be obviously less involved because you're only doing them every other week. The resolutions and content for those big projects, they're gonna be the same regardless. I mean, there's some things, some of those consent items would be consolidated, so, they're just, it would be less. I don't know that it's gonna be a tremendous amount less, but
I'll be very open. I've been had conversation with James numerous times about going to twice a month. Part of me, we sit here 15 minutes and we're done a lot of times, where it would maybe we could have some more agenda items and have more thorough discussion on things. I guess I don't have a problem having it at 12:30 or twice a month at 5:30 or one at 12:30, one at 5:30. I don't care. It would be interesting to see the dynamic of what it would be like if we went to twice a month and we actually had a meeting in the middle of the day. Would we have attendance? People take their lunch hour to come in and visit with us, or I guess I'm intrigued by that a little bit.
I'd say, sorry, I'd say as far as timing goes, from my experience in Volga, we would, and this would be the intent here, is that we would schedule items when works well for people. If somebody has a particular item that they are presenting or speaking toward, say LAIC or the chamber, we would make sure that it works at a time for them. Often what I found in my experience is that people preferred that noon meeting because it was something that they can incorporate easier into their days. And there's people that prefer the later meeting, but just having the option for either one, people could have some more flexibility in which one they go to.
I just think about when we bring in, people from outside entities and we bring them in here on Monday night, we can meet with them during the day when they're on their clock. I remember using their businesses one time, but still. It would be probably much easier for them to build their schedule around some of those things as well.
No, I talked with Sonia, just like you said, Kelly, for sports and activities. And we thought maybe looking at going to a Wednesday night, right?
I don't know. I don't know if that fits your schedules. My daughter's involved in a lot of things that run Monday, Tuesday. It seems like Thursday. Wednesday night seems to be the slow night, and that's because the kids are involved in church stuff, but the parents usually not so much. I would certainly be in favor of that because that's my quiet night. It would also, we have a lot of holidays that fall on Mondays, and we have a lot of holidays that fall on Thursdays and Fridays. So we wouldn't have to move agendas or change deadlines and stuff all the time like we do now. We looked at that, but again, travel schedules, that probably would cause more of an issue from a travel standpoint. I'm not opposed to 7 a.m. meetings in the morning, but I know Jameson doesn't like those because he's got kids to take to daycare.
I wonder what the pushback would be out of the churches in town if we did a Wednesday night meetings.
Well, we don't tend to have a ton of people here. It's usually staff and you guys. So I don't know that there's a lot of activity, and I can't say.
And like I think of our church, I'm gonna go to during Lent, we do soup suppers and things like that, but we're usually, most nights we're done here by 6 o'clock. I mean, most of that stuff doesn't start till 7 anyway, so there'd be time to go and do those things.
We could do like a noon on Wednesday. Like I said, I'm up to moving the day or the time. The only thing going every other week, I mean, if we do get hit hard with a lot of stuff on the agenda, we'd probably be here longer. But then
And I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. I think it may be.
I think we should meet as frequently as this business of the city requires.
Our current ordinance specifically outlines Monday, which again, is not a difficult item to change. To choose to do that, and I think it specifically outlines every week. Again, rather it's a big thing to change. There's flexibility in that, I believe, on the time. I don't think it designates the time. I spoke with a couple other cities, Spearfish and half a dozen others that have a policy or a resolution that says if your interest payment is due, or your utility payments, your credit card payments, those regularly contractually obligated items. They have a resolution that lets the finance office go ahead and pay those, and then you ratify them after the fact, so that when we have $100,000 interest payment to First Bank and Trust or something, they're not waiting on that. So you have to, went away from meeting weekly, we would probably want to put something like that in place. The one in Spearfish very specifically outlines what I would be authorized to pay and what I would not. And I like that one, I guess the best. Standpoint of it, it's very clear and dry as to what's okay and what's not.
I guess the only other thing is if, and this isn't our fault, if someone wants to change their plat, just like we had last week, and the individual needing to sell their property, if it goes every other week, and if it falls on the week that we don't have it, they may have to wait another week, which could cause some heartburn, but again,
Since we can't have a meeting.
Yeah,
No.
That's-
I would prefer to encourage department heads to line up their business with the weeks we have to pay bills. And then those off weeks, if we have to meet, we have to, but if we don't, let's not.
So you would be in favor of the twice a month and if we had to.
Yeah.
The Wednesday intrigues me a little bit too, just in the fact that, you know, we have to rush on a Friday to get the agenda together, to get it to the paper by, 4 o'clock, by 5, I suppose.
Sure.
At least on a Monday, then you have the whole day on Monday to get things organized and get it to the paper. And actually you have all the way till Tuesday at 5 o'clock to get everything organized for Wednesday at 5:30. But to me, that would buy you more time in that week, especially when something happens over the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, people can come in here and talk, but we can't take any action on it.
Becomes a challenge too, like when you have Thanksgiving and Christmas where they fall on those weekend days, that our agenda is then due Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because we're not here Thursday, and Friday. Or you're almost for 5 or 6 days in advance. Lots of things could potentially happen in that time frame.
Wednesdays will be tough for me, but,
Cause you travel.
you know. I could meet on Zoom. Most weeks.
How frequently each year would you say that would occur?
Well, I have about 35 travel vouchers a year, so.
As far as the Wednesday goes, or any other day or time change, I think there's some thoughts here, but not any strong feelings, so we could pause for a bit, see if any of our church leaders or our community members have strong feelings one way or the other. We could reach out to people we know in those areas as well, and then circle back. I'm not seeing any strong feelings here in that particular part of it.
I just think we need to do what's best for the city and everybody, and I'd encourage you to reach out to the Ministerial Association, and because there's a whole group of them that are together, and get their opinion on it, if we were to do something like that, what their stance would be. But if it's gonna interfere, I don't want to interfere in my husband's meetings either. I guess Kevin.
does the new meeting interfere with Jeremiah, you or?
It doesn't for me. I have some flexibility and I can use personal leave to come. That's not a big deal. That's what I bring in for elections.
The only thing be bus striking for me on an early house, and maybe for you too.
Yeah. But those are, if we go far enough, we will go
Right.
far enough in advance because we set our calendar in January for the whole year.
We could work around it.
We'll work around it. Or we just, if we're gonna have a 5:30 meeting, always that's gotta fall on the first Monday of the month, and then if we did or whatever the case may be, because we only have really house usually scheduled on the first Wednesday of the month.
Right.
It's not every month either.
No.
But that first
Once
Wednesday,
again,
that's
I could
cool.
not, I could not run again and somebody else would be chair and it would be something totally different.
Me too.
So.
Maybe get some more information from
Yeah, I mean,
the churches.
I think we should try to do it, like a new meeting, and I'd like to sprinkle one of those in. And I'd like to see us focus on 2 meetings a month, and then if we have to, we could meet those off weeks.
we could try it out for a month just to see how we feel, whatever it is, that's what we're trying to nail down. I believe the mayor has the authority to move regular meetings with 72 hours notice, so we wouldn't have to do an ordinance change if we want to just test something out for a month.
You could look even to doing every other week during the winter when it is technically slower, and in the summer when we've got all these projects going on, just adjust for that too.
Do we have to be so, can we be more broad in our ordinance? Instead of,
There are some
Pinpoint.
ordinances that don't dictate what day you have it or time you
Okay.
have it, so,
I mean,
yeah.
You could write your ordinance and say you'll meet bi-weekly, and then you can pick and choose where you want your meetings.
right. Or you can
You
do
just have-
twice a month, and you can pick your time.
Yeah, I guess I would lean towards consistency once you figure out what you want.
Right.
That
Right.
people might not like that they don't know when they're supposed to show up. They don't.
One employee did express some concern about having it lesser, having the 2-week period, just if they missed a deadline, they'd have to wait 2 weeks to get on the agenda again, but again, I think that's something the importance of we can accommodate with the current way the administration rules read. If you said 72 hours in advance, we can,
Well, special meetings to me fall even 24 hours.
sure.
Like I said, a regular meeting just be moved by the mayor and 72 hours, it'd still be a regular meeting. And that works well for those Monday holidays that kind of messes up too. And as far as staff goes, I think we could hold myself and then staff accountable to adjust to the new schedule. Working in another city, once you know this is the schedule, you adapt to it and you adjust to it. Most of the time, things don't come up where you have to get on the agenda the next day. And if that's the case, that's what special meetings are for.
Any further discussion?
I would just encourage to check with key staff too. Obviously, they're involved in this a lot of times too, so.
I'll bring it up at our next department head meeting. I can reach out to Ministerial Association. At that point, should we just come back to the commission for another discussion, or do we want to have an ordinance prepared?
Or do you want to try it out first?
Yes.
So many options.
I think we can try it out, see what information we get back, and then try it out.
We can change ordinance when I want.
Yeah, it just takes 2 meetings to get another ordinance. Not something you want to do frequently, but we can do it it's pretty straightforward and simple. I just still like direction on what the it is, and what do we want to try out.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
So what if in January we had just go with the 2 meetings a month, We wanted 12:30 on whatever day and one at 5:30 and then see what happens. And if it's something where we like it, we can make the change. I mean, that way we could have it and then make a change for the ordinance in mid-February. That would give us the 2 readings.
Trying out in January for a 12:30 and a 5:30. I guess to reach out to those state groups that I described.
I guess I would also like the input of our department heads and Kelly.
Yes, I
think
think one of the
we-
groups I reach out to.
We're trying to make it convenient for everybody. Obviously, you're not gonna make everybody happy, we like to do, and I understand that. But I also think that they run and are working in the trenches day to day, and I do value their input as from the commission side, and I think everybody else does, frankly, so.
Mondays, Wednesdays, the other day.
I guess-
Based on the feedback I hear from the Ministerial Association, maybe.
Yeah.
Typically, activities are more Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, isn't it, Adam? I would say.
We have Monday here and there.
Yeah,
But
tonight we
most
got
of the
one,
people-
though.
Yeah, there's a huge deal tonight, but Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, usually that every night.
The Mondays is more the younger,
Yeah, younger
the
kids,
the 7th and 8th grader.
yeah, which I'm sure you're getting into that.
Okay, I think that's direction I can work with. Thank you.
Okay. Full public comment, any announcements?
I just wanted to make sure that I was gonna thank Sonia and the finance office for all the help and the hard work that they put in when we went to that, 50-day event that, I think there was some panic at the beginning of how that was gonna operate, and it actually worked extremely smooth, and thank you to your office for all the hard work on that. I was gonna thank you last week, I believe, so.
Heather really enjoyed giving away the money.
I bet it was pretty
Did.
good. So either way, I think to me, it was a good deal, and we pumped $50,000 into our economy. Just thank you guys for your hard work on that.
Okay. No more announcements, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Sorry.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried, have a nice evening.
Thank you.
No, I'm not.